Hello and welcome to Ultimate Kitchens. I'm Tori Ritchie. Today we are in a contemporary kitchen that was created by a designer with a sculptor's sensibility. It is filled with unusual textures and shapes and colors. It is airy, it's light, it is a wonderful place to cook.
We'll also give you some tips on how to give your shelves that contemporary look and ways to redecorate storage areas as your family's needs change. We'll also tour a kitchen that will show us the richness of Victorian design with a host of modern conveniences.
Have you ever wanted a kitchen that was different, surprising? Today we're in the crisp contemporary kitchen designed by Fu-Tung Chang. His exquisite taste and fine arts background are evident throughout, from the rounded counters to the custom hood to the unusual cabinets. It's a great kitchen and a great kitchen to cook in.
It all came about when H Attie, a medical researcher, and his wife Eliana, a psychologist, wanted something unusual for their kitchen, a look and feel that would fit in with the contemporary design of their home. They hired designer Fu-Tung Chang to work with them to create their dream kitchen.
We want a kitchen that was very colorful, and I think that our designer did that in terms of bringing a lot of different colors and making the kitchen, very alive and upbeat.
This upbeat kitchen wasn't always upbeat. It went from this to this.
Now Ken, tell me about some of the features in this kitchen that are distinctive of this designer.
Well, I think certainly the cabinets are some of the most beautiful parts of the kitchen. And you can see an example here. There are two types of wood. There's this vertical grain Douglas fir, and sometimes he has it running vertically and sometimes he has it horizontally. And then he has the bird's eye maple, which in just a few places for kind of a design feature.
Now, one of the things I've noticed about this kitchen is this unique diagonal effect in the cabinets. Is that something that does specially?
We've seen him do it before, and we weren't sure how functional it would be. But actually it was pretty good in this case because we have plates here, and I don't think they would have fit if he didn't have it wider at the bottom.
The cabinetry is not the only artful element in this contemporary kitchen. The attached hood also doubles as a work of art.
We shopped around and looked at hoods, and they were all pretty much ugly and didn't fit in with us, so we were a little concerned about that.
But you have a beautiful one here.
Well, that's because Fu-Tung Chang basically hid the hood behind this beautiful work of art, and the hood is tucked in behind it, and so we're very happy with the hood. It's one of the best parts of our kitchen.
Another specialty of Fu-Tung Chang is the use of poured-in-place concrete. These practical and cost-effective counters are color-stained and feature surprising inlays, shells, and Fu-Tung's signature item, a computer chip.
Now, Ken, one of the first things I noticed when I walked into your kitchen is this incredible island. Was the design of this intentionally done to play up the contemporary style of your kitchen?
Well, definitely. I think the island and the hood set the theme for the kitchen, and they're both very striking in their design. You can tell that this was a work of art from Fu-Tung Chang. The island, for example, is this very large concrete base and countertop, and it's where we also wanted to have a cutting board that's built right into the island that can be removed easily.
And what about the shape? It's not the standard shape that I see in kitchens. It's kind of oval.
It has a great shape to it because you can work around it without running into corners, but it also has this feel like it's a calamari almost, and so it has this life to it. And the colors we chose, which are blues and greens, give the sense of water, and we like that very much.
The vibrant colors of the kitchen are emphasized by the well-designed lighting, which is always a crucial part of any kitchen. Here it is especially critical to the open, airy feeling of a contemporary kitchen. The Atties have selected lighting fixtures that are on a system of cables so that they can be movable, allowing for focused light on the areas they need most. Another functional element of the kitchen is the stainless steel sink and its surrounding counters. It's easy to clean and won't chip or rust. The deep sink is perfect for hiding dirty dishes as they wait to be loaded in the dishwasher. Its placement, with its fabulous cityscape view, also allows them to watch the kids while working in the kitchen. This wine steward can be locked so Ken and Eliana's kids can't get into it, and it also solves the problem of wanting wine stored at different temperatures.
And so you have red wine on top where it's more temperate.
About 10 degrees warmer up here, and then we have the white wines here and the champagnes at the bottom.
Oh, the champagne for New Year's, no doubt.
Chilled at all times.
Oh, how nice.
Ken likes to be near his kids whenever possible, so he's designed a place for a computer and a desk in the kitchen. This area allows him to work near the family and offers a place for mail and newspapers so that the kitchen can be kept paper-free. To keep the sleek lines of this contemporary kitchen, Ken and Eliana planned their storage to be out of sight but accessible. There's a drawer for pots and pans, a pantry that looks great and holds lots of items, and a spice rack right next to the stove. They love all these modern conveniences, but there is one feature she would change.
The spice rack I would change in terms of the display of the spices because it's hard to see the labels, and maybe if there were shelves inside the racks that were kind of in an inclined way that you could see the labels, you would have a easier access to the spice cabinet.
For the contemporary look, less is more. The beauty comes from clean lines, use of unique materials and textures, and unusual window shapes and placement. These views of the city are the main design element of the Attie's eating area, which is right off the kitchen.
I like this kitchen because it's a place that we come to first thing in the morning, and it's the last place we usually are before we go to bed at night, and it's always a very inviting place to be. It's cozy. It has all these stark aluminum, stainless steel appliances, and yet it's the warmest place in the house.
I love this kitchen because I think that it takes care of a very basic need, which is to be fed, and I love to eat.
Coming up next, we'll give you some tips on how to maintain concrete and stainless steel countertops. And we'll show you how to achieve a contemporary look in your kitchen by clever window placement. So don't go away. We'll be right back with more Ultimate Kitchens.
Now we're going to get some great tips from this contemporary kitchen that you can use at home in your own kitchen. Let's start with something basic. Shelves, for instance. We tend to think of them as maybe a little bit boring, but they don't have to be boring. For instance, look what Ken and Eliana did here. They left one cabinet free on top to create a recessed space where they could display things. Here we're displaying flowers, an easy thing to do for anyone to add color and variety to the kitchen.
Originally, these two low shelves were meant for displaying pretty dishware, but with kids, it now becomes the perfect spot to put toys that keep them happy while the grown-ups are cooking. Colored glasses and bottles were added to these built-in shelves to bring more color and texture to the kitchen.
One thing I love about these contemporary kitchens is the counter surfaces. You can use really crisp, sleek surfaces. One really popular one is stainless steel, which has a lot of light and sheen to it.
Stainless steel is a very sanitary surface, so it's good near the sink. To clean it, you want to use a soft sponge with a little glass cleaner.
And another one that's very popular today is poured concrete. One of the beauties of poured concrete is that you can tint it any color you want and you can shape it any way you want. but it does require a little bit of special maintenance because it's sealed on top. So what you want to be careful not to do is don't use an abrasive pad, an abrasive cleanser to clean it. Just use a mild soap cleanser, soap and water, and a soft sponge, nothing with a scratchy top. Also, be really careful with acidic things like a cut lemon or wine or orange juice. If they get on the surface, just wipe them off quickly. You don't want to let them sit there. And you also don't want to let a hot pot sit on the surface. You can put it down for a minute, just don't let it sit there because, again, it can affect the sealant. And every 1 to 2 years, in fact, that sealant is going to have to be replaced. You know, there are no rules when it comes to window placement in a contemporary styled home, but of course, you want to maximize your views. And originally in this kitchen, Ken and Eliana actually had a window here, over the stove. It was looking at the neighbor's wall, so there was no view out of it. So what they did is they punched a window in this wall over here above the sink. And what that allowed for is a view of the dining room beyond where they can watch their kids eating and so forth, make sure they're not getting into trouble. And then beyond that is a beautiful grove of eucalyptus trees and a city view. It maximizes the view. Another thing you can do in your kitchen, if the ceiling allows, is to punch skylights through as they have here. It brings a lot of natural light in. Just think of this when you're designing your kitchen. You want to minimize the weaknesses and maximize the strengths. Another area to consider in your kitchen is the backsplash behind the stove. There are a lot of surfaces that you can put back here, but in fact, for this kitchen, Ken and Eliana decided to leave just the plaster wall back here because they didn't want to break up the color scheme, which is so beautiful in here. But there are some downsides. In fact, the plaster can get a little spotted when food splashes up from pots, and you have to really wipe it off quickly so it doesn't stain. The other thing is that about every 1 or 2 years, you're going to need to reseal it with an acrylic sealer so it cleans up really easily. So some of the optional things that could have gone behind the stove are slate. This was actually suggested by the designer, and I love this. A slate tile is so beautiful, and it's really durable. And it has this wonderful textural quality to it, which is a lot like the style of this kitchen, texture and lines. It's really a good choice. Another one, which is very simple and very inexpensive, is stainless steel. It makes a great backsplash. It's impervious and it's easy to clean, and of course it can withstand the heat. Now remember, whatever kind of kitchen you have, you can take the tips that you learn on the Ultimate Kitchens that we show you and adapt them for your own kitchen.
Stay tuned. Looking back at the kitchens we visited today, there are some features that to me seem well worth remembering, even copying if you're designing a kitchen in your home. A rounded center island is both beautiful, and it means that you don't have to worry about knocking into sharp edges. If old-fashioned is more your style, consider combining modern conveniences with period details such as wallpaper and woodwork. And for perfect temperature-controlled wine storage, you can create a space for a wine refrigerator. Also, a built-in cabinet just for newspapers and mail so that you can have a clutter-free kitchen. That's a great idea. Both of these kitchens so clearly reflect their owners' personalities and passion.
You know, that is the key. That is the absolute key. If you are passionate about your kitchen and you bring your passion into it, you too will have the ultimate kitchen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.